why did we go on this trip?
Why did we go on this trip?
Yeah.
So the reason we went on this trip is because it was our 25th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Why did we pick Mount Rushmore?
Because it's super cool, and that was one of the 3 things we picked individually without really knowing it. Without knowing what each other wrote down, that was one of the 3 items that we wrote down out of 3.
So we just got back from probably the biggest trip we've ever taken. Definitely the longest trip we've ever taken. And it was a 2.5-week trip to the Black Hills area of South Dakota. And total, we went through 6 different states to get there and to get back. But the main focus of this trip was the Black Hills area. And we had sat down and made like a list of things that we wanted to do in our future like a year ago. And one of those topics, one of those questions that we were working on was like 3 places that we wanted to go visit in the future. And we didn't know when we would go, but we both like sat here, and I was in the kitchen and Mike was over in the living room, and we wrote down 3 places we wanted to go. And then we compared them, and we both had wrote down Mount Rushmore, the Grand Canyon, in Texas. So when we were talking about where we should go for our 25th wedding anniversary, it definitely had to be one of those 3 places. And we decided that since we had the most free time right now, that going to Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills was like the best place to go. And we could load up the car and we could go. And it sounds so easy, but I actually did a ton of planning to get ready to go for this trip. So, right? Ton of planning.
You always do a ton of planning before we go on a trip.
He does more the emergency planning kind of stuff, and I do like the logistics of where we're going to stay and trying to find the very, very best places. I always say we stay in the best places that we can afford. So I'm always like searching on Airbnb and trying to find exactly, the nicest place that we could possibly stay that's in our budget. So when we started planning this trip, we thought at first we were only going to be gone like 10 days. And then we started realizing, well, it was going to take 2.5 days to get there and 2.5 days to get back. And we started looking at all the things that we wanted to do while we were in South Dakota and realizing like this trip was going to be a lot longer than we thought. And we're so glad we were able to spend all the time that we did there. And when I started planning the trip, we decided how long we wanted to be there. And we especially wanted to be at a certain place on our anniversary. So I kind of based it around being there on our anniversary where we wanted to be. And then kind of backtracked and figured out what day we would need to leave to be there and all those kind of things. So we ended up spending over a week in South Dakota.
Yeah, over a week. I don't remember how many days.
It was like 3 days in Deadwood and then 5 days in Rapid City and then 2 nights in under Canva in Keystone. So what is that?
I wasn't doing math.
I think that was exactly 10 days. 3, 5, and 2. I'm so glad that we had that much time to spend there. And on the way there, it took us 2.5 days to get there from where we live. And we had stopped by, we had some stops along the way that we were glad for his emergency preparedness. But the first touristy stop that we had was at Devil's Tower in Wyoming, which is actually part of the Black Hills. We didn't know that until we were there with the tour guide. And then we were able to go from Devil's Tower straight to Deadwood.
Because Devil's Tower is in Wyoming.
Yeah, it was in Wyoming.
Yeah, and that's what kind of threw me off a little bit was I didn't know, thinking about it, I wasn't sure if that was Wyoming or South Dakota because it was right on the border between the two.
It wasn't too far away. But while we were there was a tornado warning. So we were really thankful that the locals that were there told us the safe route to go in the opposite direction of what we were planning on going and to get to our Airbnb safely. So they were so wonderful. They were at the Gulch, that little touristy trade post.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it at all.
It's called the Gulch.
Oh, they get ice cream. Which, by the way,
saved the day.
Me getting the ice cream saved the day, because if I hadn't stopped to get ice cream, we would have drove right into the tornado.
We would have, yeah, with baseball size hail. So we had went to the gift shop first, then went to Devil's Tower, and the whole time he was thinking about the ice cream, and so we stopped back to get the ice cream. I was trying to be good and didn't get any ice cream, so then he asked me to hold it while he went in to use the restroom, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're making me hold your ice cream while you go inside. And that's when our phones started like buzzing with the weather warnings, and the employees were talking and moving their cars, and so it all ended up good. And I didn't eat any of the ice cream. So. But we were able to safely get to our Airbnb in Deadwood, which we stayed in for 3 days, and had a hailstorm while we were there.
Right. Yeah, when we went the other around a different direction than we were going to go to our Airbnb in Deadwood, and we get to our Airbnb, and it was like blue skies and everything was, I thought we had just avoided the whole thing. And I'm like, so what do you want to go to dinner? What's going on? And Amy was like, what are you talking about? Like, there's a tornado and hailstorm warning. We're not going anywhere. We have stuff to eat here. We're just going to eat here. And then so I'm like, okay. And I'm still like looking at blue skies. It's like totally nice outside. And then within like 20 minutes, it got like pitch black. And I'm in the living room. Amy's in the kitchen. And I hear this like noise. And I'm like, are you okay? Did you drop something? And Amy was like, no, look outside, Mike. That's why, look outside. And it was just, hail was coming down. It was, I don't know. We were so thankful that the Airbnb had a garage. So our car was in the garage, and yeah, the hail, it definitely way bigger hail than I've ever seen here. Yeah, so in Washington, normally we have pea size, which is the absolute largest hail that we ever have. And where we were staying in Deadwood, it was like strawberry size hail. So it was pretty big. And so our car was in the garage, which was great, but it was like hitting the windows. And to me, it was just like totally bizarre. Like, I don't know if exciting is the right word for it, but it was definitely like this, what is happening right now? So anyways, glad we stayed in, didn't go get caught out in the storm.
It did clear up really quickly though.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. After an hour or less?
Yeah. And our Airbnb host was great, and she actually messaged us and made sure we were okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really nice, like caring and knowing that there was a huge storm. So that was really nice. But I was super glad that we had brought so much food with us. So we weren't stuck just having sandwiches. We had brought pasta and made salads and different things too. So we had actual dinner, right in the Airbnb, and didn't have to go anywhere, which was helpful because, sometimes you just pull up and check into a hotel or something and, you're starving. So I was glad that we were way prepared when we pulled up. And we stayed there for 3 nights. Yeah.
Right,
yeah. And so then the next day we went to Spearfish Canyon because that's where we had planned to go when we got detoured by the tornado warning. And we went to some of the waterfalls, which was so beautiful. I was taking all kinds of videos of the different rock formations. And we had went and checked out Rough Lock Nature Area, which had some waterfalls. And we were kind of laughing about it. Mike has a funny little video because there was just like this 1-foot waterfall, and we thought for a second that was the waterfall that we were there to see, but it wasn't. They had some really great walkways that had railings, really family friendly, and you could walk down to see where the waterfall actually was. And it was really pretty, but the railings were super hot. It was like 90 degrees and those railings were hot, but it was totally easy, family friendly, easy walk. Not really a big hike kind of thing, just a walk from the parking area. And then we got back in the car and we wanted to go check out the other waterfall, which was called Bridal Veil Falls. I can't even say that. So we went to the next waterfall, which was called
Bridal Veil Falls.
I can't seem to say that. That one was kind of interesting because you could see it from the car, and you could park your car in the little parking area, which was across the street. So if you were crossing the street with littles, you would have to cross the street, which was kind of a busier street on
There was a
road.
crosswalk there.
There's a crosswalk. You have to cross the street to see the waterfall, and it was right on the edge of the road. So, which was really nice. When we were looking to find out details about these hikes, like you never know if you're going to go to see a waterfall, if it's going to be a 3-mile hike in and you're going to see it, or if it's close. So those were both really close to the parking lot, so where you're parking, and you got to see the waterfalls, which was nice. We drove around for a while, and we went to Spearfish, like the city or town, and we went to the Spearfish fish hatchery, which was like a historical landmark kind of thing, and it was kind of fun. You park in the city park, and they had, we didn't have any littles with us, but I noticed they had a really great city park there with this huge playground structure, and the fish hatchery would have been really fun with like littles and stuff too, with the family too. You got to walk around and like go to this underwater viewing area, so you could see the fish like swimming underwater, which was kind of cool. And we got to see this cool train of how they used to transport the fish around, and it was just it was a beautiful like historical landmark kind of thing. It was free. You could pay to feed the fish if you wanted to.
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Just seeing the fish and seeing the underground viewing area, kind of like an aquarium style thing, but that was pretty cool. And the train was a replica of a fish transport where they had like the ice boxes and different things so that you could transport fish to, I don't know where. I totally lost what I was saying.
To other areas in the country, they didn't have fresh fish. But anyways, both those places were like really fun to go visit if you had like, just a couple, or if you had a family or whatever. I think that it was a nice stop. So kind of unexpected when I was like looking at places to stop. I was not thinking a fish hatchery was going to be a fun place to stop, and it really was, and it was beautiful. And getting to see, all the fish in the water and stuff. That was kind of one day we kind of spent doing that. And then I think we had dinner in Deadwood that night. We matched and we didn't even know it. And then Mike was putting on the sunscreen. And what did you just say?
I said I already got a farmer's tan. Now I just need a farm.
Yes, you need a farm. Hey, Mike, how's the gas prices here in Wyoming?
Prices are going down, lowering prices the whole way.
I'm sure they think that the price is up high, but how much are we paying a gallon right now?
$4.69.
Which is so much better than what was the highest we were paying.
It's like, the highest I think was at home was like $5.89. Yeah,
crazy. So, Wyoming, thumbs up, headed to South Dakota. Today's venture, we were at Devil's Tower. Look at the blue sky, so beautiful. And all of a sudden there is a tornado warning, and we are in the car. Oop, that's bumpy, sorry. We are in the car trying to get to our Airbnb. There's supposed to be golf ball size hail and tornadoes. Oh, and lightning. Let's try to hope that the road goes this way. Holy cow. It's crazy. All just in minutes. It's crazy. Are you ready to go for an adventure?
I am, but maybe we could dial the adventure part of it down a little bit.
What? Like getting broken down on the side of the road and a tow truck and
tornadoes and hailstorms. Yeah, let's focus on some fun more than adventure.
Fun adventure is the goal.